I don't even really know where to start with this one. I said this morning that I thought this would be a really, really tough game for Manchester United. I said Galatasaray would score. I said I couldn't see Manchester United scoring many. And in my predictions this morning, I went for a 1-1 draw. And it looked like for a while that was a fairly good prediction. But what happened in that second half, again, is absolutely unforgivable. And there is one positive that came out of tonight, and that is Rasmus Højlund, because that man did not deserve to be on the losing side tonight, and he deserves so many more plaudits than what he's going to get in the next 24 hours, because the rest of the team has absolutely failed him at a fundamental level. They did not show enough passion for the football club. They did not show enough drive, and the same mistakes that have been eating away at us for the last 6 months were clearly on show again. And like I said, I wasn't expecting a positive result tonight. I predicted a draw, and that was optimistic because despite the fact that Galatasaray, as I labelled them this morning, are a team of has-beens, they're a team of names, but they're still quality players. Like, they are players that have made a name for themselves of being quality, and you cannot make mistakes against players of that quality. And that's exactly what we have done. And I'm pinning some of that on the manager, and we'll get to that in a moment. But I'm pinning a lot of that on the players as well. But we'll start with our first goal, because our first goal I thought was actually really good. Brilliant ball from Casemiro. Rashford takes a touch and actually plays a cross into the box early. Something that I was massively moaning about last weekend. Balls into the box were not coming early enough because Højlund's making all of these runs. Balls were not being played in. Rashford played a ball in. Bang! Højlund goal. Brilliant goal. Then what happens? Exactly the same thing as what happened against Bayern Munich. Exactly the same thing as what happened against all the other teams we played recently. We go ahead, we switch off, and before we know it, it's 1-1. But this is some of the most disgraceful defending I have seen from a professional footballer in a very long time from Dalot. Rule 1 of defending, do not let it bounce. Why he decides to let it bounce, I don't know. He could very easily come across. Worst case scenario, he fouls Zaha trying to win the header. But he lets it bounce. He lets Zaha get in front of him. He lets Zaha pin him, push him back and push him back. And then when he can see Zaha's about to shoot, he makes no effort to get his body in the way of the ball. He should be getting his left foot or his body across. And instead, he goes like this. Little back heel with his right foot to block a shot at Champions League. Not good enough. Absolutely unacceptable. Droppable. Substitution off immediately for that sort of defending. That is absolutely unbelievably ridiculous from Diogo Dalot. It is a disgrace from a Manchester United or a Champions League level player to defend like that at this sort of competition. Absolutely unbelievable. Apart from that, I actually thought first half we played relatively well. And the reason I thought we played relatively well is because of the man that I spoke about when we lost to Crystal Palace, the man that was missing in the Crystal Palace game, and that was Hannibal. The player that is willing to do the dirty work, to actually come and receive the ball, not be selfish, and play it out to the creative players. And not only that, when the opposition gets the ball, has the willingness to run in and try and fight and win the ball back to stop the other team from counter-attacking. What does Erik ten Hag do at half-time to reward him for this? He subs him off! Why? He had done nothing wrong. You can say, oh, he blocked Mason Mount's shot. It happens. At least he was putting himself about. What was Mason Mount doing? Nothing. He was just waiting around again, trying to get on the ball and then do something when the ball arrived at his feet. He wasn't coming and getting the ball. He wasn't creating anything. He wasn't doing what Hannibal was doing. And sure, it would have been nice to see Mount put that goal in, but to take Hannibal off, to put Eriksen on, it just made no sense to me. And I almost had to bite my tongue when I thought it, because Eriksen did come on and make a difference for about 10 minutes, because he was also dropping in and picking up the ball and then playing passes like he does. And look, you know I love Christian Eriksen, but it's a situational player. He's not someone to sit alongside Casemiro. I don't mind him dropping in from a more attacking position, doing what Mason Mount should be doing. But I don't mind him dropping him and playing passes, but he shouldn't be sitting there. And obviously we created our chances from Eriksen in those first 10 minutes. But again, we didn't score. So from an attacking mindset, the substitution didn't make a difference. Then we get Højlund's second goal. phenomenal. Fair play to the lad, but it does come from a defensive mistake. And from the halfway line to run all that way down, to outpace the other defender, and then a beautiful little dink finish over the goalkeeper. Fair play to Rasmus Højlund. A brilliant performance from him. And like I said, undeserved to be on the losing side. Then guess what happened? Oh, that's right. Galatasaray scored straight away again. Because we switched off. Again. But not only did we switch off, it's come from a runner from midfield. Because guess who wasn't on the pitch anymore, picking up the runners from midfield? Hannibal. He's not there anymore. Eriksen's there again. And it was just like Gundogan. It was just like, I can't remember, there's been so many over the last few weeks. The runners from midfield are there when Eriksen's on the pitch. Because he can't track the runners. And that's where the second goal comes from. And it's 2-2. And the substitution at half-time has absolutely backfired. Then we get to the penalty. I can't even with my... I told you I wasn't convinced by the signing of Onana. I'd have signed David Raya. I've made that perfectly clear on several occasions. But from the first couple of games, I wasn't too disappointed with Onana. Yes, there was the whole Wolves incident. But overall performance, I wasn't disappointed. Back-to-back Champions League games, Onana has cost us from a good position. Because the Bayern Munich game, we were in control of the game. His mistake put Bayern Munich ahead, and so on and so on and so on. Tonight, even though the game had become 2-2, we were still the better team. But not only is his mistake, should have led to Galatasaray taking the lead, it cost us Casemiro. And it's brilliant play from Dries Mertens, don't get me wrong, but this is the point that I made at the start. You cannot make mistakes against players of this quality. Onana playing that ball out under that much pressure is no different to when De Gea did it to Maguire last season. It's absolutely no different. It's criminal. You cannot play passes like that in that area of the pitch with that level of quality player around you. Mertens is smart. He gets himself in front of Casemiro. Casemiro brings him down because he had to make a challenge because it looked like Mertens was about to shoot. Casemiro gets sent off. Icardi misses the penalty. The game carries on at 2-2. At this point in time, the moment that penalty is missed, Erik ten Hag has to put Scott McTominay on. There's no debate. He has to put Scott McTominay on. You need someone in the midfield to help shore up the midfield. I don't care if you take Bruno off. I don't care if you take Rashford off. I wouldn't have taken Højlund off. But you take anyone else off. I don't care if you take Eriksen back off. You put Scott McTominay on in that midfield. And he doesn't. He just leaves it exactly how it is. So now you're down to 10 men. And not only is Eriksen not picking up the midfield runners, Casemiro's not even in there at all. So there's just all this space in the middle. So then guess what happens? The ball gets headed on in the middle of the pitch. It goes straight down the middle. And Icardi goes through and Onana just goes... Bleh. Icardi puts it over him. I think Onana committed himself too early. But let's be honest, I think we all expected Icardi to put that in the back of the net. One way or another. I'm not going to put that on Onana. I'm going to put that on Erik ten Hag for not sorting out the hole in the midfield that was left when Casemiro got sent off. I honestly don't know where we go from here now. I mean, we're 12th or whatever it is. We got 3 wins or whatever it is in the Premiership. We're on 9 points. We're way off where we should be in the Premier League. We are 2 defeats out of 2 in the Champions League. To qualify for the knockout stages of the Champions League, we have got to beat Copenhagen away, beat Copenhagen at home, beat Galatasaray away, and probably get a result against Bayern Munich at home, just to get into the knockout stages. That's not to win the group, that's just to get second. Are we going to do that the way we're currently playing? Not even close. Not even half a chance. Not to mention that Casemiro is suspended for the next game as well. And not to mention that Copenhagen gave Bayern Munich one hell of a game tonight. And were very, very unlucky not to win. Not to even, I say not to win. They were unlucky not to get a draw if it wasn't for the late winner from Tel. So, God help us in getting out of that Champions League group. We genuinely may have to say our best chance of qualifying for the Champions League for next season already on the 3rd of October is to sack off the Premier League, sack off the Champions League, try and finish 3rd and then win the Europa League. Because honestly, I don't see another way of us getting into Champions League the way we're playing it at the moment. But obviously you got the likes of Liverpool and all sorts in the Europa League as well. So God help us winning that either. Mess. Absolute mess. I've got no answers for you right now. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And yeah, rant over. See you tomorrow morning for my next round of predictions because, blimey, today's didn't go very well, did they?